Hello, I'm an inflation therapist. Most people haven't heard of inflation therapy. What happens is, it's a long-term therapy, which is a long tradition, based on the practice of Plavini, which is a kriya, a cleansing practice from yoga, dating back thousands of years. It's also supported by research, and it has a number of benefits. You can basically think of it as similar to an oxygen-based equivalent to colonic therapy, with the difference that the oxygen goes in here rather than in here. What happens is a person is helped to relax, and then they will lie down on a couch, and then oxygen will be pumped into their body via their mouth, a hose being inserted into their mouth like this, connected to an oxygen cylinder. So basically it's like colonic irrigation with oxygen. Now, the research that backs this up, that it works well, is that there are various theories as to how it might work. One is that heat shock proteins are generated. These are proteins that increase the resistance of the body under stress. Obviously, being inflated with oxygen is a fairly stressful experience, and it also restricts the blood flow to some extent. So the cells, such as potential cancer cells, which are weaker, are more likely to die under that situation. Another thing it does is it fills the body with oxygen under high pressure, which tends to kill dangerous bacteria, which are more primitive than the bacteria that are healthy, which rely on not having any oxygen in their environment. So it's like a colonic, like I say, but with oxygen. So what happens? Well, first of all, I will do a full interview of you, where you will discuss all your health problems with me, and we will find out if there's anything that will prevent this from happening safely. Then you will change. The next stage is to change into one of these suits which zip up. They're like track suits, but they have the advantage of expanding easily, because you will expand quite considerably during this process. Now, the advantage of this is that they're stretchy, and the zip will spread the pressure. So you will change. Then, as this is happening, you will be given a drink which will relax your muscles and enable expansion. Right, your privacy will be respected. We'll be using the screens to make sure. Okay, now there are several stages. First of all, you lie down, and we have to make sure that you're completely relaxed. Now, first thing that happens is that you will be asked to seal your anus with a plug or a plaster. This prevents gas from escaping from your anus. A hose will then be inserted in your mouth. This has to be inserted past the point where the ears are going, and also down to the esophagus, so that the air can enter your stomach without filling your lungs, and also without damaging your ears. The pump will then be turned on to its first, or rather the gas cylinder will then be turned on to its first level of pressure, and you will fill with gas. Your stomach will fill and your intestines will fill. And at the end of this period, you will feel somewhat bloated, somewhat gassy. You'll feel the need to pass wind, but you won't be able to, and you may feel slightly nauseous because your stomach and your intestines will be full. Okay. The next stage is to increase the pressure slightly and to to pump more gas into you, to the point where you will actually end up appearing, your stomach will blow up, or your intestines, your abdomen will blow up, and you will look like a heavily pregnant person about to give birth, but that will all be gas inside you. That feels very tight and very full. You will feel very tight and very full, and you may feel slightly uncomfortable during this period. It will also be a little difficult to breathe. This will only be a very brief stage, and there is some discomfort involved. After that point, the gas will be increased to the full pressure, and your organs will be inflated to their maximum extent. Also, your lungs will be filled in order to deal with the breathlessness, and you will be on the brink of, your organs will be on the brink of bursting. But don't worry, we'll keep all sharp objects out of the way, and you'll be safe. You'll be left in that state for a minute. After 1 minute, you'll be able to breathe out. You will be very, very big at this point. You will be big and round, very inflated like a balloon. After a minute, we'll allow you to breathe out and you'll be able to breathe normally. This will be somewhat uncomfortable because of the enormous pressure inside you, which will be pushing up. So there's only very slight breathing possible. After 5 minutes, you'll take the tube out and we'll take the plug out, and you will basically pass wind over a long period of time, and after a couple of days you'll be back to normal. You should probably arrange for somebody to pick you up and take you home, because you're unlikely to be able to drive in that condition, or walk for that matter. Now, about safety. Well, people only very rarely burst in this situation, and when they do, it's usually either because safety precautions haven't been observed, people have been overinflated, or sharp objects have been left too near to them. But under normal circumstances that never happens, and in fact people find it quite addictive, and they come back time after time because they actually find it very pleasurable. It's also a sort of rite of passage that you can sort of get through. You can also use it to help people overcome eating disorders and other conditions. Okay, so if you were to come along and do this, you'd be very welcome, and it really does do a lot to your health. I've tried it and it's fantastic.